the impact of DS in division? So already we have seen that for the mathematical operations of plus into minus, when you are doing the mathematical operations of plus minus into and plus minus and into, so there would be no problem. But when we are taking the division, we have to remember few points, right? Anything which is in the form of x by y, anything in the form of x by 5, so which is nothing but normally when you are doing division, when we are applying DS concept, there are some points we need to remember. So either we can divide with 1, 2, 3 or 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, right? So the DS of the denominator part, DS means that it is a single digit only. So DS always expressed in terms of a single digit, right? So when we get y value, DS as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So when we get the denominator DS value is either 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. These are 9. These are the only possibilities we have. 9 or 0, right? Now what will we do? So this 3, 6, 9 digit sum, when we get the denominator digit sum 3, 6, 9. So we'll see it later because it has some different properties. So we'll talk about 3, 6, 9 later. First of all, let's talk about 1, 2, 4, 5, 7, 8. When we are dividing any number with any other number, if we get the digit sum in the denominator part is either 1, 2, 4, 5, 7, 8. What will we do? So the first point is, you always make sure that the DS of the denominator part is equal to 1. The DS of the denominator part should always be equal to 1. Should always be equal to what? 1. Make sure that your DS of denominator value should be equal to 1. See here, if you get the DS value is 1, and I don't have any problem because already the denominator DS value is what? 1. So I don't need to apply or I don't need to do any mathematical operation to this one. When we'll get denominator DS is 1, we can simply leave it like that. Okay. So now you take the second one. So if you get the denominator value DS is 2, then what is the first thing we have to do? So we have to make sure that the DS value must be equal to 1. How do we get DS value 1 from 2? If I multiply this value with 5. If I multiply the denominator value with 5, so then 5 into 2 is what? 1. So 5 into 2 is 10. So what is the DS value? DS value is 1 plus 0 is 1. So just because we are multiplying with 5 in the denominator part, so we should multiply the same number. We should multiply the numerator also with 5 because I am changing the denominator value, right? So as long as I am multiplying and dividing with the same number, so there would be no difference in the problem. There is no change in the actual value. Okay. So let's take an example. Suppose if I have something like this. Okay, I am applying it DS. I am applying DS for this problem. 1437 divided by 632. Now, what is the first? When we are getting or when we are doing problems related to the x by y form, then immediately just observe the denominator value. So, what is the DS value we get? 6 plus 3 plus 2 is what? 6 plus 3, 9. You can cancel. What is the DS value in the denominator? 2. So, always remember one point. So the denominator part DS value should always be equal to what? 1 only. So here I am getting 2. So that's why we have to multiply this number, this part with 5. Okay. So now what will we do is, you first take the DS values. So here if I take that 7 plus 3 is 10, 10 plus 4 is 14, 14 plus 5 is what? 15. The DS of the numerator value is what? 15. 15 means that 1 plus 5 is what? 6 divided by. So what is the denominator value DS? 6 plus 3 get cancelled, that is 9. So the denominator value DS value is what? 2. So the DS value of 1437 divided by 632 is what? 6 by 2. So here my denominator part is not equal to 1. So that's why I have to multiply this numerator and denominator with 5. Then what happens? 6 5s are 30. 30 means that what is the DS value? 3 divided by 2 5s are 10. 10 means that what? 1 plus 0 is what? 1. Okay. So which means that the final DS value is what? The final DS value is 3. The final DS value of this complete division is what? 3. So this is how we find out the DS value of when any problem given in the form of x by y. It's not like previous cases where we had applied for plus, minus and into. Here in this particular case, division case, we have to make sure that the ds of denominator part must be equal to 1. If it is not like that, then immediately we have to multiply the numerator and denominator with the same number. So here if I take the denominator value is 2, then I have to multiply both numerator and denominator with what? 5. Now you take the next numbers. Suppose if I take the next number, 4 means that again 4 is not having the ds sum as 1. So I have to multiply with what? 7. So whenever you see the denominator value is 4, then immediately multiply the numerator and denominator with 7. Okay, so now what happens? 7 4s are 28. 28 means that 2 plus 8 is what? 10. 10 means that what? 1 plus 0 means that 1. Right? So let's take the next one. So whenever we get the denominator, so 3, 6, 9 we'll see it later. So because 3, 6 and 9 we'll have a different strategy. First of all, we see the remaining numbers. So 5 means that 5. By which number I have to multiply the denominator what? 2. So because 5 into 2 is 10. So when we get 7, 7 means that I have to multiply the both numerator and the denominator with 4. And 8 means that you multiply with 8. 8 8 is 64. 8 8 is 64. Then only we get the ds value is what? 1. So here multiply with 8. Okay, so which means that when you are following x by y cases, you always make sure that so when we are dividing with 2, multiply with 5. When we are dividing with 4, multiply with 7. When we are dividing with 5, multiply both numerator and the denominator values 2. When you are dividing with 7, multiply with 4. When you are dividing with 8, multiply with 8. So you just wait for some time, so then you will understand it completely. So it's not a difficult thing again. So only thing is, so we have to divide the denominator and the numerator, or we have to multiply both numerator and the denominator. So with a specific number depends on the given denominator. Okay. So I'll put it in the simple words. So like whenever we have it in the form of x by y. Okay, there are cases like 1 means that we don't have any problem. 2. So 3, 6, 9 we'll see it later. So next number is 4. Next number is what? 5. Next number is 7. Next number is 8. Okay. When we have these denominator values, when we get the ds of the denominator values are either 1, 2, 4, 5, 7, 8. First of all, for the given problem, you take the ds value of the denominator value. Okay, any problem. So suppose if I give you something like this. So first you take the ds values. So 4 plus 3 plus 7, 7 plus 2 is 9. Divided by 3 plus 2 is what? 5. First you take the ds values of both numerator and the denominator. Then you observe the denominator value. So when we have 5. So I already mentioned that. So we'll get ds values, different values. When we get 1, when we get ds in the denominator as 1, then you multiply with 1 only, because when there is 1 in the denominator, there would be no change, because already the ds value of the denominator value is what? 1. But when we have 2, I have to multiply both numerator and the denominator with 5. That is the immediate step we'll do. We first look at the problem. If the problem is related to the x by y case, okay, first you take the ds values of both numerator and the denominator. If we get the denominator values 2, then immediately multiply both numerator and the denominator with what? Which number? 2. And similarly, you multiply, suppose if you get the ds values 4 in the denominator, multiply both numerator and the denominator with 7. And if you get 5, so for 2 you multiply with 5, for 5 you have to multiply with 2. I mark, so I'll take it, so 5 into 2. So numerator also should be multiplied with 2. And if I have 7, 7 means that 4 into 7 is a combination, right? 4 into 7 is a combination, so which means that multiply with 4. When I have 8, so which means that multiply both numerator and denominator with 8. And you have to write it first. So please note it down these points. So this is the case of x by y value. So when you are taking the ds of division, then these are the points we need to remember. Okay. So when we are dividing with 2, so if you get the ds value in the denominator part is 2, multiply both numerator and denominator with which number? 5. And similarly, if you get 4, multiply both numerator and the denominator value with 7. And if you have the denominator value, ds value is 5, then you multiply both numerator and the denominator value with 2. For 7, you multiply both numerator and the denominator with which value? 4. Okay. So anything. So here if you see that, so this is the expression. And this is the expression 234 divided by 32. So what is the ds? First of all, you have to take the ds values of both numerator and the denominator. Here I get 9 by 5. Okay. So what is the ds value? ds value of the denominator part is 5. So then immediately, if the denominator part is 5, then immediately multiply both numerator and the denominator with 2. Now 9 plus 2 is what? 18 divided by. So now you don't need to take the denominator separately, because anyways we'll get denominator part ds value is what? 1. Anything by 1 is equal to what? The same number we'll get. So only take the numerator value. So 8 plus 1 ds is what? 9. 9 or 0. So the ds value of x by y, or the ds value of 234 by 32 becomes what? 9. And you please note down these points. So which means that when you are dividing with 1, 5, 7, 5, so this is the 2, 4. I mark this. Okay, so when you are dividing with 2, when you are dividing with 4, when you are dividing with 5, when you are dividing with 7 and 8. So we talk about 3, 6, 9 later. First of all, we'll do the problems related to these numbers, these sums, right? So please note down these points. Please note down these numbers when we are dividing 1, 2 with 1, 2, 4, 5, 7, 8. So by which numbers we have to multiply with both numerator and the denominator. You just note down these points. You note down the numbers. So rest of the things we'll do it in the problems wise, from the problems wise. Okay. Now we see this problem. If 31% of 260 into x is equal to 128096, so then find the x value. Okay. So I already mentioned that whenever we do the problems on the percentages, so there is no change in the ds value. Why? Because now I'll explain that. So 25% means that what? We can write it as 25 by 100, right? So this is in the form of x by y, right? As I mentioned already that, so whenever we take the division values, the ds of the denominator part must be what? The ds of the denominator part must be equal to 1. Already it is 1, right? Already, so when percentage means that what? So percentage means that, which is nothing but what? So the percentage is nothing but divided by 100. So 100 means that what? Whenever percentage symbol is given, that is always like divided by 100. What is the ds sum? 1 plus 0 plus 1 means that 1 plus 0 plus 0 means that 1 only. So it is always 1. So when the denominator value is 1, then there would be no change. So then directly we can take the numerator values, right? So that's why there will be no change when we are applying the percentages. So 31% means that you take directly. What is 31%? So 3 plus 1 means that 4. Half means that into 2 plus 6 plus 0, which means that what? 8. 4 into 8 means that what? 32. 32 means that what is a single equivalent digit sum? 3 plus 2 is 5. Can I write it directly? So this is nothing but what? This total expression is 5. So 5 into x is equal to, so now the number is what? 12896. So 9 get cancelled, 6 plus 2 plus 1 get cancelled. What is the remaining number? 8. So therefore x value is equal to what? X value is equal to 8 by 5. So what is the ds of x value? The ds of x value is nothing but 8 by 5. So which means that it is in the form of x by y. So I already mentioned that when anything in the form of x by y, so we have to make sure that the ds value of y value is equal to what? 1. Okay. So by the way, when we have 5 in the denominator part, so what is the immediate step we'll do? So we have to multiply the denominator part with 2. Since I am multiplying the denominator part with 2, so the numerator, for the numerator part also we have to multiply with 2, so that the final value would not be changed. Okay. So when we have that the denominator value is 5, then immediately multiply both the numerator and the denominator with 2. Now 8 into 2 is equal to what? 16. 5 plus 2. Once after multiplying the denominator part with one number, so no need to look back at the denominator part. Only take the numerator value. So 8 into 2 is what? 16. 16 means that what is the ds value? The ds value is 6 plus 1 is 7. Okay. So the complete ds part of x is what? X ds value is what? 7. Now in the options, find the x value. So here we supposed to find out which value? X value. Now we have to look at the x value. So ds value must be equal to what? 7. By the way, you just take down the ds values of all the options. So by using the options, it's like same case. Okay, we have already done enough problems. So like 5 plus 1 is what? 6. 4 plus 1 is what? 5. 6 plus 1 is what? 7. 8 plus 1 is what? 9. What ds we required? The ds value what we required is 7. So which is there in the third option. So what is the value? So the answer is 3. Third option is clearly the right answer. Okay. So this is how we do the problems when x value, when something we are doing in the form of x by y. Okay. Slowly you will understand it if you practice a couple of problems. If you practice a couple of problems, you will definitely understand it. Okay. So let's look at the next problem. So if 12.8% of 8800, so what is the case when we have been given like percentages or the decimal values? There will be no change as far as it's concerned with the ds values. Okay, so we can take directly. So 8 plus 1 is what? 9. So the remaining number is 2. So 2 into, so this is 2 into 8 plus 8 is what? 16. 16 means that 1 plus 6 is 7. Minus, so 6 plus 4 plus 1, 6 plus 4 is 10, 10 plus 1 is what? 11, 11 means that what is the ds value? 2. So 5 plus 5 means that 15, 15 means that what? 1 plus 5 is 6. This is equal to 20% of x. It is given that 20% of x. So 20% means that 2 into half means that x into x. Now you take that 2 plus 2 into 7 is what? 2 into 7 is 14. 14 means that what is the ds value of 14? 1 plus 4 is 5. Minus 2 into 16, 2 into 6 is what? 12. 12 means that what is the ds value? 3 is equal to 2x. So 2 is equal to 2x. Therefore x value is equal to what? 2 by 2. Okay. X value is what? 2 by 2. Now what is the next step? The next step is, now it is in the form of x by y. X by y. So which means that I have to multiply both the numerator and the denominator with a specific number. When we have y value, that means that in the x by y values, when we have the denominator part ds value is 2, then I have to multiply both the numbers with which number? 5 number. Right? Okay. Just look at your notebook. As I already mentioned that you just please note down the values. Okay. Otherwise, if you don't note down already, so just go back to the video and just see the numbers, by which numbers we are multiplying the denominator and the numerator. So when we have 1, by which number? So 1 means that we don't need to multiply with any number. If we have the denominator value is 2, then I have to multiply both the numerator and the denominator value with 5. So by the way, 3, 6, 9 will deal it in a different way. So next 4 means that you have to multiply with 7. 5 means that we have to multiply both numerator and the denominator with 2. 6 means that 6 will do it later. 7 means that again I have to multiply both numerator and the denominator with 4. 8 means that what? For 8 I have to further multiply with 8 in the both numerator and the denominator. Okay. So likewise, if you see this number, the denominator value is what? 2. 2 means that I have to multiply with what? 5 in both numerator and the denominator. If I multiply with both numerator and the denominator with 5, so 5 2s are what? 10. 10 means that what? 10 means that the ds value is what? 1. So final ds value I am looking for is what? 1. Now you take the options. If you take the options, first option ds value is what? So 9 get cancelled. 6 plus 5 is what? 6 plus 5 means that 11. 11 means that 1 plus 1 is what? ds value is 2. Here, if you take the second option, 9 get cancelled. What is the ds value? 6. If you take the third option, 1 plus 4 is what? 5. If you take the fourth option, 8 plus 1 is 9. The remaining value is what? 1. So what is the final value? The final value we required ds, the final ds we required is what? 1. So which is there in the fourth option? Clearly 1 is the right answer, right? If 12.8% of 8800 minus 16.4% is 5550 is equal to 20% of x, then find the x value. Take the ds value directly. Do you understand this? So that is means that from the first this value we get 5 as the ds. After solving, the ds value of this expression is 3 is equal to 20% of x. So which means that 20% the ds value is what? 2 plus 0, which is 2 into x. So 5 minus 3 is 2, 2 is equal to 2x. From this x value is equal to what? 2 by 2. Once if you get in the form of, if you get something in the form of x by y, then while applying the ds concept, just remember these things. Okay, so let's look at the next problem. So here 53% of 120, so this is not into, so plus, please change it as plus. 25% of 860, this is also 2, so small correction, please correct this one. Okay, it is given like that, 53% of 120 plus 25% of 862 is equal to x percentage of 500. Then find the x value. Okay, so by using digitsums we can solve it. 53%, when percentage or decimal values is given, then we don't need to look at that value, that symbols like percentage or the decimal point. So you can directly take the ds value. So 5 plus 3 is what? 5 plus 3 is 8. Half means that into 1 plus 2 is what? 3 plus 2 plus 5 is means that what? 7. 8 plus 6 plus, so 2 plus 5 percentage. So 2 plus 5 is what? 7. So 8 plus 2 is 10, 10 plus 6 is what? 16. 16 means that what is the ds value? 7 is equal to x percentage means that x into 500. What is the ds value? So ds value is 5. Okay, 8 3 is at 24. 24 means that 2 plus 4 is what? 6. Plus 7 7 is 49. So we can cancel out 9 here. So what is the digit value of 7 into 7? 4. 6 plus 4 is what? 10. 10 means that what is this value? 1. So from the left side part we will get 1 as a ds value is equal to what? 5x is equal to what? 5x. So from this x value is equal to what? If 1 is equal to 5x, x value is equal to what? 1 by 5. X value what? 1 by 5. So again it is in the form of what? X by y, where x by y form is given. So then immediately we will do what? So you have to multiply both the numerator and the denominator. Here I have denominator value is what? 5. 5 means that I have to multiply with 2. So 5 into 2 is 10. So we don't need to. Once if you multiply with both numerator and the denominator with a specific number, no need to look back at the denominator part. Only take the direct numerator ds value. What is the numerator ds value? 1 into 2 means that what? 2. So the ds value of x is what? 2. Here we have to find out the x value. The ds value of x is what? 2. Now we see the ds value here in the options. So 9 get cancelled. 2 plus 5 is what? 7. First option. Here 8 plus 2 is 10. 10 plus 5 is 15. 15 plus 5 is what? 20. 20 means that what is the ds value? 2. Here 6 plus 3 is 9. 6 plus 8 is 14. 14 means that 1 plus 4 is what? 5. And here 9. 8 plus 8 is 16. 16 plus 3 is what? 19. 19 means that you can cancel out 9 here. So 1 is the ds value. So what is the final required ds value for us? That is 2. So which is there in the second option. So the right answer is what? Second option. Clear? Okay. Let's see the next problem. So find the value of 3400.25 divided by 2345. Again you can see that this is clearly in the form of x by 5. X by y. So when we see that x by y form, when we see the x by y form, then immediately first we take the ds value. So here 4 plus 5 is 9. 3 plus 2 is what? 5. By 4 plus 5 get cancelled. 2 plus 3 value is what? 5. Okay. So the ds value of x by y form is what? 5 by 5. The immediate step we'll do is what? Multiply both numerator and the denominator with the same value. So when I have 5 in the denominator, I have to multiply with 2 in both numerator and the denominator. 5 into 2 is what? 10. 10 means that what is the ds value? The ds value is 1. Okay. For this entire expression, for 3400.25 divided by 2345, the ds value is what? 1. Okay. Now, let me see the options. In which options we'll get the ds value is what? So here 5 plus 3 plus 1 is what? 9. 9 means the ds value is what? 0. Here 4 plus 5 is 9. So the ds value is what? 1. Here 5 plus 2 plus 1 is what? 8. So the ds value is what? 8. So here 1 plus 7 is 8. 8 plus 5 is what? 13. 13 means that what is the ds value? The ds value is 4. So we require the ds value is 1. So which means that which option we had? The second option we have. So the value of 3400.25 divided by 2345 is what? 1.450. Okay. In the next session, we'll see that. So we have seen that when we are dividing with 1, 2, 4, 5, 7, 8. So as I mentioned already, so when we are dividing with 3, 6, 9, it will have a different strategy. It's a simple thing, no need to worry about that. That we'll see it in the next session.